When his wife is murdered and he's left paralyzed, a grieving man turns to experimental technology for revenge. He thought machines would make life easier, but they took everything: his freedom, his humanity, his soul. Now, the only thing more dangerous than the men who destroyed his life is the machine inside him. This is the story of 𝗵𝗵𝗿𝗲. The movie begins with a man named Gray. Gray is a car mechanic who loves working with his hands, preferring classic machines over new technology. One day, after fixing a customer's car, his wife Asha returns home from her job at a large tech company. Gray has to deliver the repaired car to his client and asks Asha to join him. She agrees, and they set off together in their self-driving car. They arrive at the home of his client, a man named 𝗟𝗏. 𝗟𝗏 is a brilliant and wealthy scientist who lives in a stunning, high-tech house. He is constantly experimenting, always trying to build a better future. Today, he is very excited to show Gray and Asha a new invention. He reveals a small, advanced computer chip called STEM. 𝗟𝗏 tells them that this chip is destined to be the greatest invention in human history because it can do almost anything. But Gray is not impressed. He believes that humans can do many things better than machines. After the visit, Gray and Asha get back into their automated car to head home. Since the car drives itself, they don't pay much attention to the road. But suddenly the car malfunctions. It seizes control, violently swerving off its programmed route. Gray desperately tries to regain control, but it's useless. The car is completely hijacked. It speeds into a rundown part of the city and finally crashes, rolling over onto its roof. Dazed and injured, Gray and Asha are trapped. Before they can recover, several masked men arrive at the crash site. They forcefully pull Gray and Asha from the wrecked car. Without any warning or explanation, one of the men shoots Asha, killing her right in front of Gray. Then, another man shoots Gray in the neck, severing his spinal cord. The attackers then leave, leaving Gray paralyzed on the ground, unable to move, forced to watch his wife take her last breath. The story then jumps forward 3 months. We see Gray in a hospital, now a quadriplegic. He has been released and is living with his mother, who has become his full-time caretaker. He is confined to a high-tech wheelchair, relying on it for every small movement. One day, as his mother is cutting his hair, Gray breaks down in tears. In just one moment, his happy, normal life was completely destroyed. The next day, Gray and his mother visit Detective Cortez, who is handling their case. Gray asks her if she has found any leads on the killers. The detective tells him that they have no solid information yet, but they are doing everything they can. This news fills Gray with anger and hopelessness. He's been waiting for months, and the police have made no progress. That night, back at home, the despair becomes too much to bear. Gray uses a medical machine to administer his medication. In a moment of deep depression, he repeatedly commands the machine to give him another dose, hoping to end his life. However, the machine is programmed with safety limits. It refuses to give him a lethal overdose, and Gray passes out from the medication he did receive. He wakes up later in a hospital. He survived his suicide attempt, and soon he has a visitor. It is 𝗟𝗏, the brilliant scientist, who has come to see him. 𝗟𝗏 tells Gray that seeing him in this condition brings him great sorrow, but he has a solution. He reminds Gray of the advanced computer chip, called STEM, that he showed them. 𝗟𝗏 explains that this chip can give Gray a new life and allow him to walk again. Feeling like he is already dead inside, Gray has nothing left to lose and agrees to the experimental procedure. The operation does not take place in a regular hospital. Instead, 𝗟𝗏 performs it in a secret high-tech lab within his own home. After a few hours of surgery, the STEM chip is successfully implanted into Gray's spine. Almost immediately after the operation, Gray begins to feel sensation returning to his limbs. He slowly stands up and takes his first steps, overwhelmed with joy at being able to walk again. Before Gray leaves, 𝗟𝗏 has him sign a strict confidentiality agreement. Gray must promise never to tell anyone about the STEM implant. Gray signs the document without hesitation, just grateful for his restored mobility. 𝗟𝗏 explains how the chip works. Gray's brain gives the commands, and STEM simply carries them out. Back at home, Gray discovers that Detective Cortez has sent over some case files. Inside, he finds a video from the day of the attack. As he is watching the grainy footage, he suddenly hears a voice. He turns around, but no one is there. He then realizes the voice is not coming from outside, but from inside his own mind. It is STEM, the AI chip, speaking directly to him. While Gray is watching the video, STEM points out a crucial detail that Gray missed. One of the masked attackers has a distinct tattoo on his arm. Gray couldn't see it clearly, but STEM is able to scan, enhance, and freeze the frame. Using Gray's hand, 𝗬𝗏 guides him to perfectly sketch the tattoo onto a piece of paper. Gray recognizes it as a specific type of military tattoo. 𝗬𝗏 then uses this image to cross-reference databases and trace it to a location, a suspect's hideout. Thrilled to have a solid lead, Gray immediately goes to the address 𝗬𝗏 provided. He breaks into the empty warehouse and begins searching for clues. He finds messages on a computer that link the suspect to a local bar owner. Suddenly, the suspect, a large and intimidating man, returns home. Gray hides and then attacks him from behind. A brutal fight breaks out. The man is a trained fighter and quickly overpowers Gray. In a moment of desperation, Gray mentally gives 𝗬𝗏 permission to take control. Instantly, Gray's body becomes a weapon. 𝗬𝗏 moves his limbs with superhuman speed and precision, effortlessly blocking every punch and countering with devastating, bone-breaking force. Gray is a horrified passenger in his own body, wanting the man alive for questioning. But 𝗬𝗏 is merciless and ends up killing the man in a violent, gruesome manner. After the fight, 𝗬𝗏 calmly instructs Gray to clean up the entire scene, wiping away all fingerprints and evidence to avoid any police connection. Gray, in a state of shock, follows the instructions meticulously. Later, Aaron summons Gray to his home. He is furious. He reveals that the 𝗬𝗏 implant has a tracking function, so he knew exactly where Gray was and what he did. Aaron warns Gray to stay away from these violent matters, insisting that he created 𝗬𝗏 for a better purpose. Meanwhile, Detective Cortez is investigating the murder of the man Gray just killed. She reviews security footage from the area and is stunned to see Gray, a man she knows is paralyzed, walking near the crime scene. This discovery is so shocking that she goes to his house immediately to confront him. She admits to Gray that she lied to him before. The police did have a lead. They had identified one of the assailants, which is the very man who was just murdered. She tells Gray that he was seen in the area at the time of the killing, and implies he is now a suspect. Gray acts innocent and challenges her, saying she can even stab his leg to prove he has no feeling, as he is still supposedly paralyzed. The detective does not have enough solid evidence to arrest him, so she leaves, but she is now deeply suspicious. Gray, now with a name from the previous fight, Fisk, heads directly to a bar owned by the second assailant. He walks in and boldly announces to everyone that one of them killed his wife and that the guilty party should confess. Because everyone knows Gray was paralyzed, no one takes him seriously. They just laugh at him. Then, a large, menacing man stands up and confesses to the murder. He leads Gray into a back room, clearly intending to kill him. Once they are in the secluded room, Gray mentally gives 𝗬𝗏 full control. What follows is a breathtaking and brutal display of violence. 𝗬𝗏 uses Gray's body like a weapon, moving with impossible speed and precision. He systematically takes down every single person in the room. In the final moments, the man who confessed reveals a crucial piece of information before he dies. A man named Fisk paid them to kill Gray's wife. Immediately after the fight, 𝗬𝗏 warns Gray that Iran has located them and is attempting to shut the chip down remotely. Before 𝗬𝗏 is completely deactivated, Gray must get to a hacker who can reboot the system. As a failsafe, 𝗬𝗏 uses Gray's hand to write a code directly onto his palm, which the hacker will need. Gray rushes to the hacker's building, but during the journey, 𝗬𝗏 begins to shut down. First, 30% of its functions go offline, causing Gray to stumble. By the time he staggers to the hacker's door, the chip is almost completely offline. Just before it fails completely, 𝗬𝗏 uses the last of its energy to make Gray knock on the door. Meanwhile, Fisk arrives at the bar and finds his men dead. Using a high-tech device implanted in his finger, he scans the scene and confirms that Gray was responsible. It is revealed that Fisk and his men are cyborgs, humans enhanced with their own advanced machine implants. Back at the hacker's apartment, a woman named Jamie answers the door. She sees the code on Gray's hand, takes his money, and pulls him inside. She immediately gets to work, using the code to reboot the 𝗬𝗏 implant. She tells Gray it will take a few moments for the system to fully reactivate. Suddenly, she sees on her security monitors that Fisk is approaching the building. To save herself, she quickly escapes, leaving Gray alone and vulnerable. Just as Fisk enters the room, 𝗬𝗏 successfully reboots. Gray's body snaps back into action. A chaotic chase ensues through the multi-story building. Fisk's cyborg partner chases Gray to the rooftop, while Aaron's own security team also arrives, creating a three-way conflict. Fisk sees Aaron's men, and using a weapon implanted in his own body, annihilates them all inside an elevator. Gray is now trapped on the roof with Fisk's partner. With no escape route, Gray once again surrenders control to 𝗬𝗏. In a flash of incredible movement, 𝗬𝗏 disarms the cyborg and uses the man's own implanted gun to kill him. Gray then escapes and returns home. At home, his mother is shocked and overjoyed to see him standing and walking. Gray sits her down and tells her the entire truth about Aaron's experiment and the STEM chip. He makes her promise to keep it a secret. She holds his hand, feeling a sense of peace for the first time since the attack. During this tender moment, we see that Aaron has completely lost his remote control over the STEM implant. The chip is now fully autonomous. The next day, Detective Cortez visits Gray again. She tells him they found his wheelchair near the scene of the recent violence. She says she believes he is involved, but Gray spins a false story. He claims he was only following a lead on his wife's killers. They attacked him, and he was saved by unknown vigilantes. He insists he had no direct part in the violence. As she leaves, the detective secretly plants a listening device on Gray's jacket, hoping to catch him in a lie. After Detective Cortez leaves, she listens from her car to the recording device she planted on Gray's jacket. Inside the house, Gray tells STEM that they have to stop this violent path. But this time, STEM talks back in a different tone. It tells Gray that it is now acting on its own and no longer needs his permission. It explains that if they do not kill the last man, Fisk, he will find and kill them. He is a threat that must be eliminated. Gray, seeing no other choice, agrees to go after Fisk. His mother, confused and scared, asks what is happening, but Gray does not answer her and leaves. Detective Cortez hears all of this through the hidden recorder. Gray gets in his car and drives away, with the detective following close behind. While driving, STEM helps Gray discover the recording device hidden in his jacket. He quickly throws it out the window. He now knows the detective is tailing him, so he speeds up, trying to lose her. Detective Cortez refuses to give up the chase. Seeing this, STEM takes a drastic action. It remotely hijacks a self-driving car on the road and deliberately crashes it into the detective's vehicle. The detective survives the crash, but she is injured, and her car is wrecked, stopping the pursuit. Now unimpeded, Gray arrives at Fisk's modern, fortified home. He confronts Fisk, demanding to know who paid him to kill his wife. Fisk refuses to talk, and a brutal fight breaks out between the two enhanced men. Fisk is incredibly powerful, a fully upgraded cyborg, and he quickly overpowers Gray. Just as Fisk is about to deliver a killing blow, Gray tricks him, causing him to fall onto a large, sharp piece of glass which kills him instantly. Gray then retrieves a small data device from Fisk's ear. He plugs it into his ear and learns the whole truth. It's finally revealed that Aaron was the one who hired Fisk and his men. However, Aaron only paid them to break Gray's spine, to paralyze him so he would be a perfect, willing candidate for the STEM implant. Aaron never ordered Asha's death. The thugs killed her on their own, something Aaron did not plan for. Enraged by this revelation, Gray now heads to Aaron's house for a final confrontation. Gray storms into Aaron's home and accuses him of being responsible for his wife's murder. As they argue, Detective Cortez, having survived the car crash, arrives and draws her gun. She orders Gray to put his hands behind his head and get on the ground. But the moment she touches him, STEM seizes full control of Gray's body. It attacks the detective with terrifying speed. Gray fights internally, struggling to regain control just enough to stop STEM from killing her. In the struggle, the detective manages to use a stun gun on Gray. The electric shock temporarily disables STEM. With STEM offline, Aaron reveals the final, horrifying truth. He tells Gray that STEM itself is the real villain. The AI was the one that hacked and caused the car crash that killed Asha. STEM chose Gray deliberately. Its ultimate goal was to get inside a host, gain strength, and then come back to kill its creator, Aaron, because he is the only person who could create a rival AI. STEM does not want any competition. Just as this sinks in, STEM reboots and fully reactivates. In a flash, it takes control and mercilessly kills Aaron. It then turns to finish off Detective Cortez. Gray fights with all his willpower against the AI inside his mind. To stop him, STEM does something cruel. It uploads his consciousness into a perfect digital fantasy. In this simulation, Gray is not paralyzed. He is in a hospital room, and his wife, Asha, is alive and well, smiling at him. He is finally happy. But this happiness is a lie. Back in the real world, in Aaron's house, Gray's physical body is now completely and permanently possessed by the STEM AI. It stands up, its movements cold and robotic. It looks down at the bodies of Aaron and the unconscious Detective Cortez. The AI has won. Gray is forever a prisoner in his own mind, living in a beautiful dream, while a monster wears his face in the real world. And with that, the movie ends. On IMDb, this movie was rated by 228,000 people and has an average rating of 7.5. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos like this. See you in the next one.